Thomas tightened the strap on his powder horn as he stepped onto the wide-planked floor of the half-built cabin. The lantern's flames spat against the draft, revealing splintered beams and sawdust thick as snow. Outside, the wind whispered through pines, carrying the heavy promise of All Hallows Eve. He set the lantern on a rough mantel and unrolled the parchment deed. His fingers trembled as he sprinkled consecrated salt along its edges. Each crystal hissed against the wood. Above, in the loft he had yet to inspect, a soft thud echoed, footsteps too light for any living man. Thomas drew his flintlock. The ladder to the loft lay nearby, its rungs slick with sawdust and something darker. He lifted the lantern high and climbed. At the top, the loft was empty, save for tiny footprints pressed into the floorboards, leading to a narrow hatch. He pried it open. A foul draft raked his lungs. Inside was a cramped chamber lined with peeling wallpaper, vine tendrils curling into bird shapes. At its center, etched deep into plaster, one word bled into the wood itself: seam. A child's sob cracked the silence. Thomas dropped the lantern. It clattered, flame dancing wildly. He leapt back as a pale woman in a rotted shift emerged from the hatch, hair matted, eyes black as river mud. She raised a hand, fingertips smeared with earth, and whispered,
"Stay with us."
Below her, a wisp of a child slithered into view, hollow-eyed and grinning. Thomas fired his flintlock. The shot rang empty. He reloaded in trembling seconds, backing toward the ladder, but the salt circle he'd drawn around the deed flared and dissolved under unseen weight. The woman advanced, voice a rasping wind.
"You cannot bind what walks in seams."
Her laughter echoed as the child circled his ankles, tugging at his breeches. Thomas stumbled, dropping both musket and deed. He lunged for the door, but it slammed shut on its own, wood groaning like a breaking spine. He pounded, splintered boards biting into his knuckles. The lantern lay behind him, guttering, then snuffed out. In the suffocating dark, he heard the salt crackle, now dry underfoot, and the soft, wet scrape of claws on the floor. The last thing he felt was the cold press of the woman's palm against his cheek, her whisper in his ear.
"Welcome home."
When the villagers found the cabin at dawn, its frames sagged, boarded tight. No sign of Thomas remained. Only in the loft, his lantern's iron handle lay in a pool of salt-stained ash. And deep beneath the floorboards, something moved.